r/AskReddit by Redmond Dtes. What is the most messed up thing you've seen at a bar? Watched a kid hold a girl's hair back as she puked in a trash can, then made out with her seconds later. I was at an after hours bar years ago when a guy came in and killed himself by shooting himself in the head in the bathroom. That wasn't very neat. Some super drunk guy pissing at a urinal with his pants down at his ankle. When he finished his pee, he stepped back and barfed into his own pants instead of the urinal which was right there. Because he was so drunk, he just pulled his pants up and wandered off, with everyone else in the bathroom that saw it howling with laughter. Watched a dude stab himself after he threw a bowl of mac and cheese on someone, who then called him an asshole, to which he felt bad, then proceed to stab himself in the tummy, dislodging a portion of his intestine. Almost date rape. I was walking past a table, and a blackout drunk girl managed to pull me in close and say, "I don't want to go home with him," with tears in her eyes. I was drunk myself, and not ready to absorb that information. I kept an eye out for her, and a few minutes later, her date was dragging her out of the bar, and I see her trying to get her in an Uber. I ran out to the street, acted like her friend, quizzed him on who she was. He couldn't answer basic questions, and I told him to F off. Got her to a new Uber programmed to her friend's house who was waiting for her. Felt surreal as I'm conflicted at first. She just kept saying thank you. Still haunts me knowing what almost happened. One night at a dive bar, a guy pulled a live lizard out of his pocket and set it on the counter. Without hesitation, the bartender poured the lizard a tiny beer shot in a bottle cap. The man called it his emotional support lizard, and the little guy actually licked the beer. By the end of the night, people were lining up to take selfies with it. And the bartender even wrote lizard friendly bar on the menu board. Hands down, the most bizarre bar moment I've ever witnessed. I was eating with my wife at a booth toward the back of a local place in rural Indiana. I look over, and I see a 40-ish dude dry humping his partner, while two other people sat across their table looking shocked. This went on for about 2 minutes, and then I realized he wasn't thrusting against her, he was restraining her. She was having a pretty bad seizure. Ambulance took I think 43 minutes to get there, which is insane, because the bar is like 20 minutes down the interstate from Fort Wayne's biggest hospital. She was still alive, but mostly unresponsive when they left. I still wonder if she was okay, and how everyone at that table ended up. A perfect stealth puke. I was sitting in a booth in a busy dive bar. 4 guys in khaki trousers were standing next to me, talking very loudly, with the word dude every 5 seconds. One of the guys was nodding his head to the conversation, then he turned his head and released a massive gusher of vomit onto the floor. I watched it splash and spread. This guy turned his head back around and continued smiling and nodding his head. There was no puke on his mouth or his shirt or his khaki trousers. He 100% got away with it. I turned to my friends in the booth. "Hey, did you see that guy just puked?" Nobody cared, it's a dive bar, puke happens. But that guy was some kind of old hand at it. Very professional. A bartender at a dive bar was pretty wasted, to the point where she dropped a pint glass into the ice bin, shattered it, then proceeded to grab another glass and fill it with the ice glass mix for a customer's drink. We saw a guy get stabbed in the chest. The knife got stuck in the guy's chest bone, and that's how the paramedics took him away 20 minutes later, with the knife still stuck into his chest. Best to keep the knife in until surgery. Makes it easier to control the bleeding with the blade in. A biker roadie's on meth in the bathroom after a bad breakup. They rush him to the hospital, and then they come back 20 minutes later and keep drinking without him. A bartender pulling a drowning mouse out of the sink and continuing to wash glasses. Saw myself and 6 of my friends get shot in small town Ennis, Montana. Good friend died that night. 3 life flights arrived. I was deemed non-recoverable. I was hit right above my belly button. The 45 round exited my L3 vertebrae and left me paralyzed from the waist down immediately. It severed my vena cava, my guts, pancreas and liver all got blown to bits. It was intense to say the least. The guy who shot us, George Davis, got away. He ran a stop sign in Lalo and a cop pulled him over. He jumped out of his car and shot the cop before he knew what was going on. Big police chase. Couple cop cars got shot up. They finally spiked his tires at the Montana-Idaho border and rammed into his car. All that footage was in the intro to wildest police chase videos that used to be on TV. There was never any rhyme or reason for his actions. He's now serving the longest sentence ever given in Montana at the Delodge prison. Getting shot is easy. Recovering, that's tough. I appreciate the little things nowadays. Hard to have a bad day when you've experienced real tragedy. I saw a big beautiful woman getting a rim job from a really skinny short Arab guy. Her butthole was the size of his face. Bar fight. I'm sitting at the bar. A couple of guys are arguing 2 seats down from me. One of the guys picks up his almost empty rocks glass and smashed it straight into a guy's face, rim first. Shattered, blood everywhere. I closed out and ditched before the cops got there. Was at a bar with a friend, visiting a town we don't live in. At another table, some guy was arguing with his girlfriend loudly. It sounded like it might erupt in violence at any minute, so we paid attention. Suddenly, he grabbed his girlfriend by the back of the head and slammed her face into the table. Before I knew it, my friend and I were standing up. We are both about 5'7", shorter than this muscle-bound galoot, but my friend can look pretty intimidating. I on the other hand, am much more slight and not intimidating at all. My friend went to confront the galoot, telling him he can't do that to his girlfriend. I decided to move behind the galoot and grabbed her chair. If punches were thrown, I figured I had one chance to whack this guy from behind and run like hell if necessary. My friend argued with the galoot for a while and he and his girlfriend left the bar. Afterwards, I asked the bartender why we were the only ones to confront this guy. "Everyone else here has seen him fight," was the response. I saw a guy passed out, head down on the bar. He laid there for 30+ minutes before someone checked on him. He drowned in his own puke. When someone pulled up his head, his lips were blue, he'd been dead that long. Had a guy shit his pants in the line for the bathroom. Best I can tell he was wearing pants and a small log rolled down his leg. We found that small log and then a Hansel and Gretel like trail of chili beans leading out the club and up the stairs to the entrance. I worked at a pub in Tokyo. We hosted a party for a Finnish phone company whose head office was nearby. One guy was so off his face, he took a dump in the toilet and decided to draw all over the wall with his shit. He finished off by signing his work of art, so we knew who did it. Didn't see him at the next Finnish phone company event. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more. Have a nice evening.